Welcome to Goonieland. I'm Brian.
I'm Betty.
So, cut here at Goonieland. This is the outdoor kitchen where we all, as a community, have our meals. We've got a fire pit. We've got our little coop here. We've got gardens in the back, around the back here, and some tomatoes growing. This is our little home zone, zone 1. And we'll take a walk around, show you zone 2, zone 3, and beyond. The land is about 200 acres, so I don't know if we'll get around the whole place today, depending how much time you have and how much I talk.
So this is our kitchen garden. We do all our cooking in this outdoor kitchen in the summer with our woofers. So it mostly just has salad, greens, and onions, strawberry patch. There's a little greenhouse there, cob oven, still waiting for its roof. We just rebuilt it. Oh man, the kitchen's so cool.
Let's go for a walk. So we've been growing hemp here for about 6-7 years, under license, and we grow for CBD oil. This is a high CBD producing plant. These are all feminized, so we don't get any pollen coming around, and we don't produce any seed. We only produce pure CBD oil, and that all gets sent off to the medical market once we harvest it. So, these barrels are our compost tea. We got some comfrey, some burdock, and horsetail in there. That we just let that sit for a few days, break down, and we feed it to the plants. That's our fertilizer. Yeah, we just built that deck.
Wow, beautiful. Some tiny homes.
Yeah, we're hoping to get this tiny house completed this year. It's a hempcrete inside with just wood on the outside. And that's with DeVita block bricks, hempcrete bricks from Dion Lefebvre. And we've done a couple workshops on this one already, but we just want to get it done so we can have a resident farmhand year round. You want to check out the inside?
Sure.
Yeah, just do a quick little. Oh, it's full of furniture again. Just try to avoid that. Yeah. The beds are for the campground, the glamping. So we got all these extra mattresses we got to deal with because we're glamping now. Yay. It's fun.
Are we going to go over to view it?
Oh yeah, sorry. Going the wrong way. Yeah. I'm just going to run up this hill, check on Harold's job.
Super nice.
Yeah, this was salvaged, these two decks, these two 10 by whatever they are, 12. And then we just built in to fill in the side in the middle. And then the rest of it is all reclaimed or driftwood. And this is hemp rope. Oh, there's my screws. I was looking for those. And that's the wrong screws anyway. You gotta make sure they're using the right screws. I'm telling you, it's really important. So there you go. Oh, yeah. Sacred space.
That's awesome. You guys throw ceremony in here?
Ceremonies, yoga, breath work. There's a weekly women's group, book club that Betty is hosting, and whatever else. Community stuff, right? Yeah. This is one of our pig zones. This is the first zone we'll put them through this summer. And there's 5 paddocks that go through this forest here. It's about 2 acres. And
This is all electric fencing then to keep them in?
yeah, so the electric fencing just keeps them inside if it's tight and if it's not grounding out, if it's kept clean, right? Because they just push against it. So it works most of the time. Sometimes they get out and it's an adventure, right? So they'll go through here, move through here, through the season. 9 pigs this year that will be running through this forest. And we accidentally got a boar this year. So we're gonna keep them separate and we'll see what we can do. Maybe we'll be breeding again. We tried without a boar before and it was very complicated and expensive and it didn't always work. So we're trying it again, maybe. We'll see how he goes, how he grows, and if he's seems like he's good to go. If not, off to slaughter. We'll start again next year. Yeah.
Yeah, you used to have like a house built into the hill. Is that still?
I used to.
You still here?
Yeah,
No,
there.
not your house. I mean, like
My.
the pigs.
Oh, the pig house in the hill. Yes, of course. The pig ship.
Pig ship.
Yes. We're on our way there right now. So duck pond down here, down from the pigs, which are on the right. Some nice green gooey water in there, and looks like ducks are playing in the pond right now. Perfect. So we thought the ducks ate the hemp plants that we planted around here.
Oh yeah.
So we changed the fence so to keep them out, but the plants kept getting damaged, and we figured out it was the gophers. See the gopher over there? Right around? See that? Right behind Sarah's kitchen?
Oh yeah, I see them.
There you go. So there's the culprit. Didn't know that a gopher, or these are ground squirrels, right? To be more accurate. But they're terrible for gardens and hemp, apparently. So we're trying to get rid of them.
Hi guys. Sarah's kitchen. Right there.
So this zone here was an old mill site. So when they were building the railroad, they were milling for railroad ties right here. And they were hauling logs up from up there, bring them down, decking them off, and they would get about 2 railroad ties out of one big fir tree, right? So old growth, very specific grade they had to be. And this whole area became like a wood waste zone without the chemicals because they were doing all the dipping somewhere else, right? So now we have, like when I started digging this pond here, I found 1.5 feet of topsoil, which is unheard of in this area. So it was a little bit of a bonus. And then we pile it all up and eventually we'll level it out here and build a giant garden. And we might get into market gardening next year.
Awesome. Yeah, and you got this nice water system set up here. Is this the pump that I saw? I didn't think it was here.
This is one of the hydrants. There's another one down straight across from here over at the greenhouses. So this comes from a reservoir that's 170 feet above us. And that gives us about 73 PSI down at the greenhouses. And we can run sprinklers throughout the whole farm. And that's also tapped into our earthship and our outdoor kitchen.
Is that the outhouse, the original
Yeah,
outhouse?
this is the first building I built here. Yeah,
Okay.
it's my first earthship, but it's called the earth shit.
Awesome.
It also doubles as a safe and a bat house, but there's no money in it. I spent it all. So this is the upstairs here, the room, the bedroom. Show you the other room here. Where'd Betty just go? Oh, she's getting her tent sorted. So this is the last room we built. This was originally outside. It was a patio. And we actually did a hempcrete floor. And we wanted to seal it so it could be a patio. And that didn't work. So we turned that problem into an opportunity. Built some walls, got a timber framer to come in and help us out with the joinery. It was a little tricky to actually add on to a building that's round and not exactly straight. But it worked. We made it happen. So the staircase was pretty tricky because I wasn't sure how to build a stairway curvy around a set of tires because this is all tire wall here, right? So what I ended up doing was pounding rebar in between each tire just to kind of get a close shape, like this, to create that stringer. And then I welded angle iron and cut it to shape it, to fit it around the wall. And then I had a structure to build off of. So then I had to figure out the other side. And it was the dead of winter. The only thing I could really find was this chain that would work. It was either that or an 1.5 inch rebar, which would have worked, but it would have been a lot of torch and bending, and it wouldn't have been as nice. I like this.
I like this. Great for your pots.
There you go. Yeah, we found that out at the Kim Basket.
All these shelves are all rounded too.
The shelves were a piece of driftwood from the Kim Basket, and we milled it all up with the chainsaw mill. All of the wood, all of the beams in this house were milled with the chainsaw mill. Check out the bathroom. It's kind of a greenhouse, but it's not the best. We grow plants, we start them, but we move them under lights. Yeah, on the grid. Yeah, so we have an on-grid house where we grow for the start of the season to get things started. In here, it doesn't really work with the straight windows. I would have had to go like angled. So. The bathroom's pretty cool. Check this out.
Bathtub. I love all the bottles in the wall. So pretty.
There's a few skulls 1, 2, 3.
It has the lumpy wall. That's awesome.
Yeah, because that's an interior wall. We didn't really have to pack it out. We just wanted to cover it up, and we like the shape, so it worked.
It's nice to be around that, like, round organic shapes.
He doesn't know how to use his cat house yet. Look.
Oh, he can get in there.
Yeah.
How does he open that door?
Well, he hasn't quite learned it yet, so we're training him to use it. Oh, maybe it's just too sticky for him. See that rust on there? Yeah, so he just goes in
A
there.
little too much effort for cat nature. I figured out.
So we started with a cistern buried in the back, tied in, and then a pump, pressure pump, direct connect to the batteries, right? But it was so loud in the kitchen, it would have to pressure up every once in a while. And so we connected the pressure line, the gravity feed, and we haven't needed the cistern anymore, so. But it's a good backup. You want to have backup water systems, right? If that one fails, actually right now it's failing, the batteries are low and the pump hasn't pumped for 2 days, so now I got to go check it out. 'Cause we're going to run out of water soon. It's getting hot. So we got a little artsy on this wall. And then the birds got at it. You see the holes? That's a woodpecker. Right there.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, all around this side too. He's been going after it. Actually, not too bad on this side. There's the other side, there's a couple other holes. But yeah, the birds will eat hempcrete if it's not protected well. So there might have been like just some weak points in the plaster.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a foot thick wall. It'll take them 1,000 years to take it apart. And we can easily patch that up and replaster it. It's not a big deal. Yeah, so this, you're asking about the burnt wood here. Yeah, that's actually from a natural forest fire. So they say 1870s, all of Donald burned down. And there was huge forest fires. And that could have been like a lightning strike on a giant cedar. So there you go. We milled it up and built it into the deck.
Yeah, when I first saw it, I totally thought he burnt it because he was out here doing shows to ban on all like the struts underneath to protect them from the moisture. I was like, holy fuck, like too much.
Yeah, maybe too much, yeah. Oops.
Show me the tub setup thing.
Well, it's not done yet, but
Well, there's enough of us here now, we can get it done.
Capture the people when you have them.
we could get
Exactly.
the tub up actually.
Yeah, we should flip this tub up and see what it looks like.
So the cast iron tub will just sit on these metal plates, and then the fire will go in here, and a chimney will come out this way. Then we'll build the firebox as best we can.
Yeah, it'll be a little bit of a maintenance thing. You got to clean it out before you jump in so it doesn't smoke you out. Because we're not actually putting a sealed box under it. We want the flames to contact the tub directly so it heats up super fast. It should only take about half an hour to heat it up. Okay, ready? On 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, or 2. Okay, too far back. Come back this way. And back your way a bit. And whoa.
So what's going on over here?
So we've been working on this area. It's 8 acres, plateau, about a 2% grade, slope this way. And this is between the two creeks. This side is the deep canyon. This side has a big gully where a smaller creek flows through. And our vision for this area is initially a campground and glamping, but we're gonna fence the whole thing and put sheep, cows, goats, maybe, and you'll be camping with the sheep.
You guys are building something over here?
Yep, they're building the second tent pad right now. The first tent pad was the hexagon. The second tent pad by accident, is an octagon. Little bit of a oopsie yesterday. So we're just going with it. So we'll have 2 different shapes now that we're gonna work with.
You didn't want an octagon?
Maybe we'll just build a square next time. It's easier. Yeah. That looks awesome, guys.
Dude, I'm so proud of this thing. It's like, hey, so much, find more precision.
Yeah. Straight cut through there. I'm like, oh, why did they cut it straight? That should have been like notched in. It actually is.
Yeah.
You can't even tell.
That's crazy.
And now I can see it. Yeah, there's the there's the joint.
I used to
It's
do some
tight.
Japanese joinery, so
Look at that.
Oh.
real tight sometimes.
It can't even fit, man.
Oh, I didn't know that about you. Japanese joinery.
Yeah, I mean, I just did it in my off time. I'd work and I'd stay up till like 1 a.m. in my cabin just cutting,
Yeah.
making joints.
Well, there you go. Ooh, hope. Ooh, Night Rider. Gray water. Water station.
Okay, cool.
So this is my old snowmobile trailer that down a bit.
You're gonna fence the whole.
We're gonna fence that whole campground area and create a pasture. That's park poles from Parks Canada. They were pulling them out, and we had a little in on that, and we got those. So pretty good deal with that. And hopefully we have enough to do the whole 8 acres, maybe 5 at least. And then this area here, because we have this water system that overflows when the pump is running and we don't need it, we can now actually start to do agriculture up here. And this is the top of the land. So we have friends that are gonna help us create a market garden, and they're gonna run it, and they're gonna supply our store with vegetables.
And tell me about how you get the water into these tanks and how it runs.
So just down from here, about 50 feet downhill, vertical, we have a little solar pump in a pool. It's a little spring, and that just pumps it up into these 2 tanks buried. And then any overflow from those tanks goes into the upper tank, which gives us more storage for summer irrigation. And I'll show you what I got going on inside the tanks, because that is important. So, down in here, you can see the line comes in from the pump through this float valve. Then when the tank gets full, like these 2 tanks are connected below, so they're the same, they stay the same level. And then when these tanks are full, that float valve closes and directs the flow up into this tank. So then come over here. This tank is open to down here into this float valve. So now when the tank level starts to go down, when we start to use more water downhill, that float valve opens, this tank spills into this tank. So it's a nice passively controlled system. And then any overflow, when this is full, it comes out of this spout right here. So I can fill another tank with overflow, or I can connect that to a drip system. We can go this way, or we can go that way. So we just pause. I try to pause here at this point where I start to enter the microclimate. I can feel the moisture, I can feel the cool air. And a friend of mine told me, you know, when you enter a sacred area of your forest, just stop, pause, and give thanks and ask. So, away we go.
Yeah, it's immediately peaceful when you come down here from the top of the ridge.
So this is a spring. It's a little pool that's here year round. It never freezes up, it's always flowing. And that flows down, down, down. And then there's actually more spring activity all the way along this ridge that flows into little pools all the way down through the forest. It's a sacred space. It's where our water comes from. It's clean. I don't know if it's coming up or if it's coming from above or both. So, but it's very clean water, very fresh, cold, and that's what feeds our whole farm. And the system is quite simple. 1 panel on a pole, 4 batteries, 12-volt pump with relays to control the level. Once it gets to the lower level, it shuts off. It goes to the top level, it turns on. And it just pumps all day long, unless I want to turn it off. And in the wintertime, I'm only turning it on about once a month. It fills our tanks, it takes a day, and then we're good for a month in the winter. In the summer, it's usually on full time. Right now, we have a power issue. It hasn't been pumping, so just gonna check that out. Actually, it looks like it was pumping. As you can see the high water line there. So it looks like it got enough power. It's sunny today. And that was the only thing. It was like cloudy for a few days, and it's been pumping pretty much 24/7 for the last week. So, check the lights. Yep, it's all good. So, very low tech system. There's a little sensor in there, a little float sensor, high level, low level, and a pump that just dangles in the culvert. and a one-way check valve and a hand valve if I ever need to do maintenance. Which this has been in operation for about 3 years now, 4 years, maybe 3, and I haven't had to do anything to it yet, except for change that sensor because it does fail. So we have extra sensors. They're only $15. I have an extra pump. It's like about a $250 pump. The batteries were a salvage, and the rest of it was not too bad. It's about a $1,000, $1,500 system. And we just did minimal work in here, mostly by hand. We did have to get a machine to just take a scoop, and then we dropped in about a 4 or 5 foot culvert. And that is a flow through. So it's full, it's all perforated, so all the water can flow through, so it doesn't go still inside and then freeze up. So what I found is you get about, at the most, when it gets down to minus 20 here, 2 or maybe 2 inches, and I can always, smash it out. And it doesn't freeze the lines or the pump or anything. So it's been pretty good. So yeah, so especially for someone like you, Lindsay, who's a permaculturist without land, and you've been trying to get on land for years, right? And the price of land just keeps going up. So I'm one of the fortunate ones that got in land early. I didn't have a plan to be a farmer at all. I was here to snowboard, but I learned about permaculture, natural buildings, hempcrete, earthships, and met Betty, and she got her courses, design courses. I got mine, and away we went. So here we are. And it just turns out this land is almost checking off all of the, those 8 points of permaculture principles for like what you would seek to homestead land. The geomorphic shape of it, the aspect, the southwest aspect facing here. It's kind of an outcropping, like a ridge, but it also creates an issue with our access too, right? So that corner is really dangerous. It's on the Trans-Canada. But we do have plans to build a road out the backside, which we're still in negotiation with a neighbor or two. We don't know. So, but I feel like the work I'm doing with the university I'm with is Gemstone University. I'm taking estate structure right now. Structuring, I'm not talking about real estate. I'm talking about my life estate, which is the equitable estate that we all have. We just don't know it exists, and we don't know how to access it or structure it properly. So that's what I'm learning to do. It's been a few years, and I'm in estate structure training until September, about September, October, and then I should have some kind of structure, trust structure for this land, and including a allodial title via the Crown grant. And really what we do is we do an amendment to the original grant of the land, and that might include neighboring properties as well. So once we do that, we amend, we put on notice, public notice. Once a certain amount of time goes by and it's uncontested, it can't be rebutted, and we make sure it can't, right? It becomes a fact in law. So what that does is it puts us back on the land, where we are standing on the land. However, we still have more work to do. And that could take another year or two, depending on how much time I have to do it. But that's where I will go into correcting my status to remove myself from bondage, surety, bankrupt status within the legal system. And that's where we remove ourselves and become, well, some people call it agency. Some people say you become an agent to the fiction. I don't really use that word because it's still under military context. But what we're doing is going to peace. So we don't want to be at war. We don't want to be combatants. And because we're under a military occupation, and every country in the world is the same pretty much. The United States is the highest corporation, and all countries are subcorporations, and we're under military jurisdiction. It's just a fact in law. So, us being at peace, non-combatant, non-military, now because of the rules or the laws that they've created that tell them they actually have to accept our, not ours, but their own presentments or deeds. So we give those deeds, those presentments, some people call them bills, right? And it's not like we're saying, here you go, government, pay our bills. We're saying, the bill is paid through our equity. It's already done. And a high principle of equity is that equity sees done that what ought to be done. And if we are coming to peace with clean hands and we are lawful, they have to leave us alone. Like nobody's pushing us around. And some people call that sovereignty. And some people call it spiritual sovereignty, which is awesome. It's an amazing way to be, way to live. But what we're trying to not just be sovereign, we're becoming solvent. And what's a solvent? A solvent, it dissolves. It dissolves a bond, right? So a bond could be something that attaches you to a debt, right? And that debt is carried throughout your life in an account that you might not see. It's there. And until you deal with it, you're still bonded, unfortunately. So it's the reason a lot of these sovereign movements haven't worked, is because they don't see the underlying equity that can release that bond to make them solvent. And so the account, it might look like it was taken care of, it might have been closed. I don't know, there's a lot of people trying to do this stuff and they think they're doing it, but it's not actually getting done properly. So with Gemstone, the group I'm with, Pantera, everything is being perfected. So by the end of this year, I hope to have an estate structure set up here. And once I fully comprehend it and have it done, then I'll be able to explain probably a little better. And then what we'll find is that people will be, coming to us and wondering, how did you remove your requirement to say if you had like a little flu go around, in the animal pens or, something like that, chickens, pigs, what's going on right now. How did you not get quarantined? How did you not get removed from the land when there was a forest fire 50 miles away or whatever, and they said everybody has to evacuate, right? And how did you become the agent, the sovereign, or the solvent, right? And we'll be able to answer those questions, and we'll be able to help people, especially our neighbors, since we already have the land patent that includes some of their properties. We don't have anything to do with their stuff. They can do whatever they want. But if they see us standing on the land, it's like, holy shit, how did you do that? Right? And what that does is it's a responsible way to live, and it will improve. It won't. I don't want to talk about value as like real estate, money, but I mean the value of these properties will improve, and there's different ways that's going to happen because we are able to do things without government restrictions and requirements and all that stuff, especially around water. We'll be able to be responsible for the land and hold some of that water, slow it down properly, of course with others, professionals that are going to help us get these earthworks completed, and then we're actually replenishing the aquifers. We're improving the entire ecosystem around us. So that's value. That's the true value. So right now our neighbor's drilling wells to subdivide. He's got to drill twice on some of his lots. They're not performing. The water table's really low right now. So right now the creek is just flowing through. There's nothing holding it back. There's no beavers. And they took out all the trees right out of the creek, right in the riparian area. They logged the whole thing, that whole gulch up there. And the only thing left to do is get in there and start creating little pools, hold that water back, get that water soaking in, and then our creek won't dry up. And then we become drought resistant. We can produce more food. Everybody benefits. It's mutually beneficial, and it's lawful. It's not legal.